Hello, my name is Courtney Cassio, and I am doing a presentation on horse slaughterhouses being opened back up in the United States. Some things to think about is how do opening slaughterhouses affect the equine market? How does it affect abuse horse rates today? And how does it affect the equine rescues? Um, some history on the horse slaughterhouses is they used to be open here in the United States for horses that were sick, injured, old, um, basically had to be put down, was suffering. They went to these houses to be turned into horse meat to sell to other countries. But they never took in perfectly good horses that weren't injured. You know, they didn't do them inhumane like they do in Mexico, where they just slice them open. They did it humanely with a needle, euthanized them, and everything like that. Congress shut those slaughterhouses down in 2007 due to a rumor going around about them being inhumane. They later on discovered that the owners of the horse slaughterhouses were buying horses in the auctions that were perfectly good using their own horses and slaughtering them for horse meat across the country. So they weren't following the guidelines. So Congress took action and they shut down and banned the slaughterhouses for good and decided to open up more horse rescues and thought that was a better place for them to go until, they had to pass away. They didn't, it seemed to have the opposite effect on what Congress thought it was going to do. The abuse and neglect rate for horses have skyrocketed. Horses are being abandoned by their owners because their owners can't afford them. There's just too many horses. It's the cost of feed, the shoes, the vet bills. Since our economy dropped in the middle of all this, it's hard to afford a horse, and they have nowhere to go. So they are just letting them loose and hoping someone finds them, or they're leaving them in barns and they're starving. You hear more of these stories now than you did when horse slaughterhouses were open. According to the government accountability, horse abuse has reached over 138,000 horses a year. That's, almost triple what it used to be. It doesn't help that the economy did drop, but since the horse slaughterhouses have been closed, it's made it even worse, it seems. Horses are also being sent down to Mexico instead, since we don't have slaughterhouses here, they're being sent to Mexico. In Mexico, they don't care about the horses. They just throw horses in a trailer, they pile them up, they don't care to give them food, they don't give them water, they bring them down to these slaughterhouses, and then they just kill them, very inhumanely. They don't euthanize them, they just, straight up slaughter them. And it's not just the sick horses, it's good horses, any horses that are cheap that they can get a hold of for good meat. The number of horses being sent to Mexico has increased by 148% since horse slaughterhouses have been shut down. So which one is better, neglecting horses and letting them starve, or sending them to Mexico? I think, opening slaughterhouses back up would be better. That way they're not being sent to Mexico. Another thing that this has affected is our horse rescues. Congress opened up horse rescues to prevent horses being abandoned and neglected, to give them somewhere else to go. But there's just so many horses that even the rescues are getting too full. Rescues are reaching their capacity, and they're not just the injured horses, the old horses, the horses that are going to be put down or die off soon. They're the horses that are perfectly good. They could be athletes, they have potential, they're young, and these rescues are originally for horses that are abused or have something going on, something's wrong, they're injured, they can't be used for for a performance horse. They'd just be good for trail riding, or someone to have a pet in the backyard. Nancy Runyon, which is a local rescue owner, she says, it's bad when you have to turn down horses. It's stressful when I have to take all these horses and have to find them homes. But no one will adopt them because they can't afford them, which is becoming a problem. So I can't imagine how she feels. She has all these horses that she needs to adopt out for free, but everyone's taking their horses to her, so how is she supposed to find homes for them? Some rescues are having to send them to slaughterhouse or to auction because they're just too full. They have nowhere to send these horses. They're not getting adopted. What else are they supposed to do with them? So that has a huge effect on the rescues. So instead of Congress helping helping horses, they ended up hurting them because, they're still being sent to auction and they're still being slaughtered, just way worse and in a different country. We aren't, instead of us receiving the money for the meat, someone else is. And there's just no control over it. And Congress and the government aren't doing anything about it. Another huge thing that this affected was our equine market. The equine market fell by over 50% since the slaughterhouses have been shut down. This means, the ranches, the big-time trainers, the horse dentists, the vets, they're all losing huge business because no one can afford it. There's also so many horses now that you can find a good performance horse for $6,000 when it would normally be like $10,000. It is hard to take these horses in and give them a value because you can find a good horse anywhere now, which is good for the buyers but bad for the trainers and the ranchers. I looked on Fox 10 News and saw a report, and a horse trainer named Dave from Oregon says horse values were at an all-time high before slaughterhouses were shut down. Performance horses have lost their value, and it is making it hard to survive as a trainer and a rancher. This, I am a horse owner myself, and I am a trainer myself, and it does make it very hard to take these horses in and turn it into something great and sell them because they're not rare anymore. They're easy to find, and there's too many of them. If slaughterhouses opened back up and gave the horses that needed to be put down and the injured horses or the horses that, we're going to die off soon, if the slaughterhouses opened back up and just kind of narrowed down how many horses we have in the United States, it would make the equine market shoot back up and it would solve almost all of our problems. Also, the cost of hay has risen because there is such a demand for it. There are so many horses, people have all these horses, they don't know what to do with them, especially rescues. So the cost of hay and feed has gone up because, they're going to get their dollar out of it. And they want, since there's a high demand, they can ask that much. Instead of a bale of hay being like $6 like it used to be, it's almost $10, which is outrageous. It's even, gone over to $14. I've seen it at $14 a bale, and I've even seen it at $17 a bale, which is really pricey when you think a horse goes through a bale a week. Just one horse. So if you have more than one, that's outrageous. This has also caused the prices for the horses at the auctions to drop. And a lot of the slaughterhouse owners in Mexico go to these auctions to buy these cheap horses because they have good meat, they're not sick, they're not injured, they're just perfectly good horses that they're buying and taking them down and slaughtering them, which isn't good. We don't want slaughterhouses to be opened back up to slaughter the good horses. We want to get rid of the horses that are already needing to pass away. So all around, the horse slaughterhouses in the United States would definitely benefit our horse market. It would make the neglect and abuse rates go down, and it would make rescues have more room for the horses that truly need it. And, a lot of people that are in this industry don't see the good side to it, and a lot of people don't take the time to see how it's affecting our economy and how it's affecting the horse market today. So I hope this speech has helped you get a different perspective, and that is it. Does anyone have any questions? Victoria.
How is Congress going to make slaughterhouses more humane than before?
Congress plans on monitoring the slaughterhouses and using euthanization this time so that the problem that happened last time won't happen again. Kayla.
What will the meat from horses be used for?
Sending horses to the slaughterhouses in the United States is way more humane than sending them to Mexico. In Mexico, they just throw them in trailers, take them down there, and basically stab them. So here they'll be euthanized, and it won't be perfectly good horses. They'll be sick, injured, or horses that are going to have to be put down anyways. Morgan.
How is sending horses to slaughterhouses in the United States any better than sending them to Mexico?
The meat for the horses will be used for human consumption and dog food, but they will be sent to other countries. It won't be here in the United States. So it will give us, more funding and open up more jobs in the United States.